The rain had just begun to fall over Maplewood, a quiet American suburb surrounded by tall oak trees and small coffee shops that always smelled like cinnamon. Ethan Miller, a 27-year-old freelance photographer, had just returned from a long road trip across the coast. He wanted to rest, recharge, and maybe find something new to focus on, both in his work and his life. He rented a small apartment near the park, right next to a cozy cafe called the Morning Leaf, a place that quickly became part of his daily routine. Every morning, he would sit near the window, order black coffee, and go through the photos he had taken during his travels. That's when he first saw Clara Johnson. She walked in one morning wearing a long beige coat, her hair still a little damp from the drizzle. There was something graceful about her, calm but confident, like someone who had lived enough to know what truly mattered. Clara, 43, was a local art teacher who had spent most of her life helping young artists find their voices. She had no intention of being noticed that morning. She just wanted her cup of tea, her sketchpad, and a quiet moment before her classes began. But Ethan noticed her, not in the way people notice beauty, but in the way an artist notices a perfect composition. Their first conversation started accidentally. Clara was sketching the window view when her pencil rolled off the table and landed near Ethan's foot. He picked it up and smiled. "Looks like your pencil wanted a new perspective," he joked. She chuckled softly. Maybe it wanted a better artist. That short exchange turned into a long conversation. They spoke about art, photography, travel, and even the changing weather. Ethan found her thoughts refreshing, deep, reflective, and full of life. Clara, on the other hand, was quietly impressed by Ethan's genuine curiosity and the way he listened, really listened. Days turned into weeks, and soon their morning meetings became something both of them looked forward to. They didn't plan them, but somehow always ended up at the same cafe around the same time. Ethan began showing Clara some of his work, portraits, landscapes, and city moments captured through his lens. Clara would give honest feedback, often pointing out emotions he hadn't realized were visible in his photos. One day, Ethan asked, "Do you ever wish you had done something else? Like photography maybe?" Clara smiled wistfully. "I used to, but now I think art isn't about what you do, it's about how you see. You could be a teacher, a photographer, or even a gardener. It's all art if your heart is in it." Those words stuck with Ethan. As winter settled in, Clara invited him to visit the local art school where she worked. The students were preparing for their annual Art and Soul exhibition, and Clara thought his photography would inspire them. Ethan agreed, a bit nervous but excited. When he entered the studio, he saw students painting, sculpting, and laughing. Clara moved among them like sunlight, warm and encouraging. Seeing her in that element changed how Ethan saw her entirely. She wasn't just someone he admired, she was someone he deeply respected. During the exhibition, one of Ethan's photos, a black and white shot of an old man smiling in the rain, caught everyone's attention. Clara looked at it for a long time before saying, "You've captured something rare, contentment without perfection." That night, after everyone left, Ethan and Clara stood in the empty hall, surrounded by paintings and soft jazz music. He said quietly, "You know, I think you've changed the way I see my work." She smiled. "And you've reminded me what passion looks like when it's pure." There was a pause, not uncomfortable, just full of meaning. Then Clara looked at him and said something that Ethan would never forget. "Don't wait to be ready to live your life," she said. "Start now. The right time never comes, it's made." That simple advice hit him like a spark. Over the next few months, Ethan began working on a project he had always dreamed of, a photography book called The People Between Moments, dedicated to the quiet emotions that connect strangers. Clara helped him curate the photos, choose the captions, and even design the cover. During one late evening at the cafe, after weeks of working together, Ethan said, "You know, this book wouldn't exist without you." Clara shook her head. "It exists because you decided to believe in it. I just reminded you that you could." When the book was finally published, it received recognition in several art circles. Ethan insisted Clara attend the launch event as a special guest. On stage, he introduced her as, "The person who taught me that art is not what you create, it's how you see the world." The audience applauded. Clara smiled, her eyes shining with quiet pride. After the event, Ethan walked her home. The evening air was cold, and the city lights shimmered in the puddles along the street. As they reached her porch, Clara turned to him and said softly, "I'm proud of you, Ethan. Not because your work is good, but because it's honest." Ethan nodded, emotion catching in his throat. "You've been my biggest inspiration." Clara looked at him with that same warm, kind expression she always had. "Then promise me you'll do the same for someone else someday. Pass it forward," he promised. Years later, Ethan became a well-known documentary photographer. His work was displayed in galleries across the country, often focusing on human resilience, kindness, and unspoken connections. But no matter how much success he achieved, he always remembered that one rainy morning in Maplewood, and the woman who taught him to live with heart. And whenever he gave a talk to young artists, he would end with the same words Clara once told him. Greater than, don't wait to be ready to live your life. The right time never comes, it's made. Moral. True inspiration doesn't always come from youth, fame, or ambition. Sometimes it comes quietly from someone who believes in you when you don't believe in yourself.